a little time for some inspection theater.
Can I come in?
Come on in, Mr. Fire. The door's open for you.
Thank you. You always make me feel so warm and welcome.
No, this door is supposed to have a self-closing spring on it so that it always closes. I get that's a nuisance because when you're carrying groceries in, you have to open and close the door all the time from the garage. I get that, you know. I made an educated decision to do a stupid thing and took my spring off. My house is not for sale. Oh, it wasn't required in 1962 when this house was built. No, you're supposed to have a self-closing spring. They don't require those in North Texas where we're at. No, they do require them in North Texas where you're at. If the house has been remodeled, it should be brought up to current code. You may have a Corvette out here, for all I know. But most of the things we care about, friends, family, and pets, not necessarily in that order, you know. Our mortgage, insurance policies, retirement, investment portfolios, art. Okay? The things we care most about are on this side of the door. But that's not what this video is about. This is the overhead door opener video. And we have two metal panel overhead garage car entry doors. And we've pulled the releases so we know the releases work. See if we can get them to re-engage here. What? Okay, let's see if we can get it the other way. Okay, shame on me. This is gonna. I'm not going to trim that out either. I didn't re-engage the. Let's try it this time. There we go, look at that. Not the quietest, but still. This button is for the closest one. I guess that's for the furthest one, even though it's closer and farther the orientation. You see all these leaves? See all these leaves on your garage floor? That came in through that. It kind of blew in here if you use your forensic imagination. But our door gasket is torn. That's what's happened right there. Okay, both of these doors, the courtesy lights are working. And both of these doors are identical. So I can explain one door and duplicate or explain both doors. So I'll just do those. These control buttons are not supposed to be closer to the door threshold and the floor, and I'm height challenged. They're not supposed to be closer to the floor door threshold than 5 feet to keep little hands from coming up. There should be a warning notice posted next to these switches. These staples on these control wires can cut the wires. These should have been insulated staples. Now, in 1961, 62, when this home was built, the garage ceiling was not required. In fact, I'm surprised to find these up there. It's going to be interesting to see what I see in the attic. But, okay, GFCI was not required on the garage. Let me see if they updated or retrofitted this any kind of way. There we go. Nope. They're not GFCI protected. We have our courtesy lights. We have our emergency pull handles coming on down. Our manual door locks have not been decommissioned. You could close the door, lock the door, forget that you locked the door, try to open the door again. The lock will keep the door from opening because that's its job. The motor will keep trying to open the door because that's its job. And the door will bend and flex and become distorted. Jacked up, man. These are supposed to be decommissioned as long as you're using the power. These. Now you disconnect the power, then you can reattach this. And one way people do this is that they will loosen the bolt and they'll turn the latch around so that it doesn't work. And then they'll put the other spare bolts back in for safekeeping in case there ever comes a time when you're not dependent on the garage car door opener. But in the meantime, in the here and now, these should have been decommissioned, manual door locks. We should have a warning notice, an entrapment notice, posted inside of both of these doors. It's going to look very similar, if not identical, to the entrapment notices posted here. You're supposed to have a little picture right here next to the buttons, and a picture on the insides of both of the doors. And a lot of times they have like illustrations on them that have like, you know, kids being squashed, that kind of thing. Kind of drive the point home. That's what they have. And we don't have those. We do not have pull handles inside of the doors. Remember, if we disconnect this, we pull the emergency handle. Remember, if we lose the power to this. Remember, if we decided we needed to use the door lock or whatever, how are you going to open and close the door? Because if you pull, this metal, the reason why it's concave like this is because all those bends add strength to the door. But that doesn't mean you can sit here and hold this flimsy little rail right here and pull it open and closed. It doesn't mean that at all. Okay? Are we through yet? Not by a long shot. On the inside corners, on the first panel, first, second, third, fourth. On the first panel, bottom panel, on the corners of that panel, there should be spring tension notices. A spring tension notice tells you that, warns you that you can get your fingers caught in these things. And that the springs can break and they can cause damage to people. And that's what it's about. It's a finger notice. So we got a squash notice and a finger notice. Okay, we can have that. Moving on along, and we're still going. You run around here, and then this is the difference between the two doors, is this torn gasket. Now on my website and on my inspection agreement, okay, I say that I made a business decision to do no harm. I'm not a harm doer. Okay? So, I do not do block tests for the safety reverse. I'm going to test the safety reverse. And if a block test is important to you, I have the instructions baked into your inspection report, and the listing agent can come over and demonstrate the block test. Or you can choose to do it on your own when you take possession of the property and it's your house and a block test. I'm just going to take my big old flat zombie hoof and I'll pull it across the beam. That should break the beam. That should send it into automatic reverse. Therefore, we would know that we have an automatic reverse. We just aren't aware of what the sensitivity level is set at. That reminds me of one other thing. These optic sensors down here, the ones that with the control wires that have the wrong staples, they're not supposed to be farther from the garage floor than 6 inches. They're supposed to be between 3 and 6 inches. I think it's 4 and 6 inches. But you can hardly get them too close. But when they're high like that, a rabbit, a cat, a baby, something could roll underneath there. And so that's why we want the optic sensors to be a little lower. So we're going to come on over here. We'll push our buttons. I'm going to dance over here with my big old flat zombie hook. That one's shorter than the other one. And we know we have safety reverse. We know we have the courtesy lights. We know we have these things. These doors are actually functional. They're not even very loud. They're not even very loud. We got a torn gasket. Our optic sensors are too low. We got the wrong kind of staples. Oh, no, not the wrong kind of staples. We do not have pinch notices on the corners of the doors. We do not have a safety notice posted inside the doors. We do not have safety door handles installed inside of the doors. We do not have, our door locks are not decommissioned. We do not have GFCI protection on the electric power going to the doors. Our control buttons are too close to the door threshold and the garage floor, and we do not have a safety notice posted on them either.